Hey everyone, welcome. This is the end of our CES coverage. I'm Marty with Louis, Alana, and Brian.
Hi.
Guys, we were in Vegas for so many days. We saw so many things. We saw cool robos. We saw some 3D prints. We saw some weird pornography that we're not going to talk about. We're here to each talk about what our favorite things of CES were. Brian, what was your favorite?
It's weird to rank your favorite things by feelings that make you feel incredibly uncomfortable, but that's what the robot suit I tried out. When you think robots, you think like futuristic and maybe like flying and shooting lasers out of your hands and all the other cool Mega Man stuff. I didn't get that experience. I actually tried on a robot suit that was 40 pounds, and it made me simulate the life of an 80-year-old man.
Well, so how's that going to be?
It's bad. I mean, if this is a preview event for senior citizenship, it gets real rough, you guys. So what they did to me was they put on this VR mask that would simulate different sort of vision, not techniques.
Ailments?
Yeah, ailments is a good way to put it. And then headphones that did the same thing. And then this suit, which had bolts all over it that kind of like locked or tightened into place to simulate, kind of your arms and your joints getting all old and rusty and stuff like that. So at one point they put me on a treadmill wearing the suit, which was 45 pounds, which is already like me on a treadmill holding 45 pounds is already just...
That's a lot.
It's tough.
You're in a weird blue suit, so you're probably a sweaty
Yeah, I
boy.
look like a cool fat Mega Man from the cover of Mega Man 1. So they put me on this thing and they simulate basically glaucoma by creating this thing that sort of creates a conal vision. So nothing around here. It's kind of like this tunnel right there. And then tinnitus, which was this loud ringing noise. And then they locked up my joints so that my arms could barely move and my legs were completely locked in place. Yeah, and they put me on this treadmill in front of a big screen that was me walking down a beach.
Yeah.
So it was basically like old man's final walk into the sea. And they were like, "How do you feel right now?" I'm like, "Awful." And I look up, there's this huge crowd of people around me, which was kind of cool because I used to be afraid to like read book reports in like 8th grade, and now I'm like, forget it. I don't have any fear about anything at all.
So this one's obviously not consumer tech. What is the point of it?
The point of this is to basically create awareness to, and sort of like, I guess, empathy towards senior citizens. Instead of just being like, "Get out of the way, old man," you're like, "Oh man, that guy like is going through some."
I wonder why did they design this? Is it going to be at universities?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
So
it's just
it'd be a studies thing.
Yeah, I think it's a studies thing. It's kind of like it made me go, how do I take better care of myself? It'll hopefully help other people do the same. And then scientists will come in and be like, this is tough. I want to study this. It's kind of like the first time, like I knew a girl in college that like her friend had a dog that was missing a foot. And she's like, "I feel really bad. I want to become a vet." And she switched majors and just became a vet. And now she's awesome at that.
Now she's like growing dogs for you?
Yeah. So that's why I'd like to announce
all over
it.
the place.
Yeah.
I'm leaving IGN and I'm going to go become an old man scientist.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So one of the big things at CES was sort of experiencing life through a different point of view, which was also what your favorite thing was, Alana.
Yeah, kind of. So mine was a scan, basically. My face was like 3D scanned. Someone had an iPad or a tablet, and they walked around me while I was sitting in a chair and trying to stay as still as I could, and it took a bunch of images of my face, and then that was uploaded into, I guess, a modding system, and I was put into Fallout 3. But Fallout 4, sorry. But they had a whole bunch of other games available as well, so this technology has existed before where you could scan your face and have it in a video game, but this one is really easy to do. It
like 5
looked
minutes.
pretty good. There wasn't facial animation. I couldn't move, and I don't know what would have happened if I had gone and spoken to someone. But it worked really quickly. It works with a whole bunch of games, and hopefully it's currently in beta. But I assume the long-term plan is that it will kind of run on as many PC games as they can possibly get it to be compatible with.
Yeah, is that the Intel?
Yeah,
this is Intel RealSense. Yes.
I think the amazing thing about this was how quick it all happened.
Yeah, it was very fast.
You sat down, I checked my email on my phone, I looked up, and you were in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
It was really fast, and I think one of the coolest things about that is that they're going to email me that scan at some point, so now I can use that forever. You never have to do it more than once.
You do real weird Let's Plays
of me with a very straight face, but I feel like with better lighting than the lighting that we had on the show floor as well, I think it would look much better.
And I guess hypothetically, you could scan in a bunch of different facial expressions of you talking, and then they could create a sort of animation cycle through all
Yeah,
those.
I'm sure they could, because I mean it's currently in beta. I can imagine that they would like keep doing that, and it was really surreal and a little bit creepy, but mostly just awesome that this is a thing that it finally works, and it worked so simply. I think is the thing that made it my favorite. It's just that it was so fast and so easy to do.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to have more on that. They're going to be showing it off at GDC in a couple months here in San Francisco as well. Obviously, the show kicked off. VR was a huge thing, and one of the first big things was Oculus, and you got to go face on with the Oculus.
Yep. So I tried both the Oculus and the Vive several times throughout CES, and the thing that blew me away was the Oculus demo using their touch controllers.
Yeah.
Called Toy Box, which was the first multiplayer VR experience I've ever had. So basically, they put me in this room facing a wall on one side, and then they had another guy demoing in a whole separate room, and he just started talking and introduced what this whole thing was, and there's a bunch of toys everywhere. And you could it's like a sandbox for adults, I guess.
Wow.
So you could just start picking up stuff, throwing stuff, breaking stuff. And
there's another person in your toy box as well?
Yeah, like what did the avatar look like? Like, were they just sort of like a humanoid shape?
It's kind of disconcerting at first because it's just somebody's face and and their hands.
Wait, so is it their real face?
No.
So it's just like a
some
blank avatar. There's no camera inside that.
Yeah.
What? How would that work?
So it's a little weird at first, but once you have the voice of somebody, it completely changes the experiences. It makes it a lot more personal.
Yeah.
So telepresence is a huge thing that VR is going to push forward. And I think this is a good tech demo about how that's going to look.
Yeah, I feel like one of the big fears we have of VR is that it's going to be this like isolation booth where like, we have to say goodbye to our friends and family, and maybe our house is burning around us, but we don't know because we don't care. Yeah. But I like the idea of like VR can still exist and it can still be communal. You can still communicate with other people. Yeah. Yeah,
especially with those PSVR games that are coming out that are potentially multiplayer. They're like 3v1, one person.
Yeah, the asymmetrical multiplayer.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, super cool. And then going along with VR, my favorite thing of the show, which the three of us I know got to play, was the Vive.
Vive is awesome.
Vive is awesome. Vive's the VR that has a lot of Valve support behind it. We got to play this amazing Portal demo. There was this cool sort of deep sea experience. Yeah, the blue where
I found that terrifying.
The whale going by you had a sense of scale that I've legitimately never seen.
Yeah.
I think the coolest demo though is Tilt Brush, which Brian, I wish you would have got to play with this because it's as someone who's an artist, it's this you're in this 3D space and one of your hands, one of the controllers is a brush and the other is like your clipboard, your palette, and you're sort of circling through. You're like, how thick do you want your brush to be? Do you want to sort of turn your brush into a wand to where you can wave it above your head and have it snow around you? You can change the color. But the whole thing with the Vive is that it's a 3D space. And so you have like a 10 by 10 room, a 15 by 15 room, and you're able to make something and then back away and then walk around it.
Yeah, or you could like sit and build around you.
Right.
And then stand up and like step outside of it and look into the thing you built.
That's
which is this
fascinating.
really fascinating
it's very
sense
cool.
of space.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's going to be of the VR we've played with so far. It might be the toughest sell in terms of you need a large space.
Yeah.
Yes.
A dedicated room.
Yeah, and I don't know if a lot of us have that as opposed to PSVR and Oculus, which sort of you can just sit at your desk or at your couch.
That's also one of the first VR experiences that I've had where I thought that if I could sink hours and hours into it in one sitting really, really easily.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it had a nice too. The Vive now has this forward-facing camera, and where with like the flick of a button, you can sort of all of a sudden you're viewing out of that camera, and it's like sort of like everything's bluish.
Yeah,
but
it's like a ghost image.
It's like a ghost image.
Yeah,
but
it orientates you so well.
Yeah, if like a loved one
really
comes in the room and asks you a question, you can hit that button and you can talk to them. Or you can grab a glass of water or something.
You'll still look like a weirdo with that thing on your face.
Oh yeah, we all look like weirdos.
No, we're not getting past that.
I don't know, I think the big theme of CES is we all look like weirdos doing these things.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So just embrace it.
Yeah.
This is where this is going. Let's just get weird together.
Exactly. Thank you so much for watching all of our CES coverage all week. It was a weird show, but it was a super fun show. For Brian, Alana, Lewis, and Marty, thank you so much. We'll see you next year at CES 2017.